Whether you think you can or can't, just know you're right. Arrange your mindset and stand at different heights. Yeah, we move the needle from E to full.
Welcome to Move the Needle. I'm your host, Randall Rutledge, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of a morning routine, and not just the importance of a morning routine, but actually how to implement it into your life and into your schedule. And the reason why I wanted to start with this topic first is because for me personally, when I mastered the morning, it was a game changer for me. It had a huge impact on all other areas of my life. And so I'm just a huge believer that if you win the morning, you can win the day. And if you win enough days, you can win the week, you can win the month, you can win the year, so on and so forth. You can win in your life. So I want to share with you guys exactly what I do in the morning for my personal routine. I know that life is going to throw some problems, throw some struggles at me during the day. That's just the way life goes. And so I want to be prepared. I want to do as much as I can possibly to prepare for my day and put on some armor and overall just get ready for the day. So when I first wake up, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my bed. And you've all heard this before. I believe it comes from the military, but it really does make a difference and makes a difference in your self-confidence and your self-esteem. Waking up, making that bed overall makes me feel good about myself. I start the day off with a little bit of positivity, something I can control, in an area where I can win. I can start to stack small wins is what I'm trying to do. And then worst case scenario, if I had a bad day, I get to come home at the end of the day. I have a nice, clean, made bed. Once again, makes me feel good. I get to start end my night in a real positive note and remind myself of who I am, that I do have discipline. And something simple, something small, like making your bed, really does make a big difference. From there, once I leave my bedroom, I'm going to make my way to start drinking some water. This is really important. Overnight, I haven't been drinking water. I've been sleeping. Now I'm really dehydrated, and your brain and your body works off of water. So I want to be able to hydrate myself, drink some water, get my brain working good, get my body working good, so I can just start to feel better. And as much as I love coffee, I do wait a little bit on the coffee, make sure I get the water first, okay? From there, me personally, I'm a big sauna guy. I believe a lot of health benefits in going to the sauna. Also just love sweating out the day before. And so for me, I start my day with a little sauna session. I know for most people that's, not realistic or not an option. But if it is, highly recommend it. Once again, gets me feeling good, gets me feeling fresh, get me ready for the day. A lot of times when I'm doing the sauna, and you can kind of replace this in your day, if you're not going to do a sauna, I would recommend doing some audiobooks, listening to some podcasts, maybe even doing some meditation and practicing some mindfulness. And that's generally what I'm doing in the sauna, is I'm listening to an audiobook, podcast, or just meditating, getting my mind right once again, okay? From there, once I get out of the sauna, for me personally, it's time to go wake up the significant other. And I've got a pro tip for you guys, for you gentlemen out there. If you want to implement this into your life, this can not only help your life, can also help your relationship, okay? The next 5, 6, 7 steps I'm going to talk about, I actually do with my spouse, and I think that there's a lot of power behind that because we get a chance to connect in the morning, do some stuff together, and not only does it just help me with my life, it helps her with her life, and also helps us with our relationship, okay? But first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the home office. We're going to do a bit of reading. We both love to read. We read self-development for the most part, and this is just filling my mind with good content that can help me, whether it's business books or sales books, marketing books, or meditation, health, you name it. It doesn't really matter. I think that reading just overall makes you smarter. And so I think it's a good thing to read. So I try to read every single day. And if you can do that with your spouse, like I said, that's even better. From there, I move into my journal. So I have a black book that I keep in my office. It's called my journal, and I do write in there a little bit, but most of the time I'm reading. And what I'm reading is actually my own words. I'm writing notes to myself, writing letters to myself, mainly to remind myself of who I am, what I'm about, what are my beliefs, what are my core values, and I really think that if you just, life is so hectic and crazy that if you just go through life and you don't ever think about who I am, what am I about, what are my core values, you'll just forget those things. And I think you'll have a little tougher time in life because they just won't be front of mind. You won't be thinking about them. So I want to read them. I want to read them every day and remind myself exactly who I am. From there, I go into affirmations. And for those of you out there that are like, oh, Randall talks to himself in the mirror, he must be a crazy person. I used to think affirmations were very silly as well, okay? But I do them, and I don't do them to look silly in front of the mirror. I do them because they work. And for me personally, I actually go through a little process to convincing myself that they work before I do my affirmations. And maybe you don't have to do this. I'm just sharing with you what I do personally. And what I do is I first go over a couple different Bible verses that really tell the story of what you say and what you think has an effect on your reality. Most of them are in Proverbs, but there's several different Bible verses that imply that your words have an effect on reality. Your thoughts have an effect on reality. Tony Robbins didn't make this up. I didn't make this up. It's been in the Bible for a couple thousand years. And so I just take those principles. And the reason why I take those principles is because they're tied to my faith, which is tied to my identity. And I'm going to get around to what I'm talking about here in a second. But what I mean by that is when I read those Bible verses and then I ask myself, okay, Randall, do you believe in God? Do you believe that His Word is true? And I answer yes to those questions. And I ask myself, do you think that God is all powerful? Yes, I do. Do you think that He wants to help you and wants to help you in a positive way? Yes, I do. Well, if you believe that and you believe that the Bible's true, then you must believe, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You must believe these Bible verses. Well, if I believe all that stuff and I literally read all this stuff out to myself every morning and it convinces me that my words are important. So then when I go to do my affirmations, they actually hit. I actually believe them. And I think that is a big part of it. If you don't believe that affirmations won't work, they probably aren't going to work for you. And that rule really applies to just about everything. If you don't believe it's going to work, it's not going to work. So it's two parts. One part you got to believe, and then the other part you got to do something. You actually have to get out there and do something. So for me, like I said, going over those affirmations, very crucial for me to tell myself not only who I am, but also who I want to be. And same aspect as before. Life gets crazy. You can go a couple weeks, couple months, and really forget. You can forget who you are, what you're trying to accomplish. So I want to speak that into my life every single day, do those affirmations. And like I said, it's a game changer. You're going to feel a little silly at first. Over time, you will love doing affirmations. You won't want to do a day doesn't go by that I don't do affirmations. I don't even just do them in the morning. I do them throughout the day as well because they really do help me and they make a big impact. From there, I'm going to start to review my goals. I'm a huge believer that if you don't set goals, you're not going to end up hitting any goals. So setting goals is extremely important. And this goes for business, personal, finance, your fitness. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. You got to set goals. And so I have a list of goals that I write them down at the beginning of the year, but obviously update them, throughout the months, throughout the years. And I review those goals, read those goals. Same thing before. I don't want to forget what I'm doing, and I don't want to forget why I'm doing it either. So I'm going to review those goals every single day, and I want to talk about them. I want to read them. I want to speak them. I want to speak them out loud and speak them to existence. I want to make these goals become a reality. And this kind of brings me to my next point is I start to go over gratitude. And actually, I stole this from Steve Harvey, but I really like it. And it's whether you have a piece of paper or a notepad, either way it works. For me, I have a notepad, and on the left side of the notepad, I have all of my goals, all the things I want to accomplish. On the right-hand side, I have gratitude, everything that I already have or everything that I'm grateful for. These are not just possessions or items. These are people and things and feelings and experiences, everything that you can be grateful for. I try to really list it down there. So whether you believe in God, the universe, or magic crystals, I don't really think it matters. I think we can all agree that there's something out there bigger than ourselves. And I'm a big believer that having faith in something can really help you in life. For me, that's faith in God and faith in Christianity. And one of the beliefs that I have, and I could be completely wrong, but one of the beliefs that I have is that our Creator doesn't like it when you're not grateful. Think about it. If you have a kid and you have two kids, and one kid is always saying, "Thank you, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much." And you have another kid who is never grateful. It's never good enough. Doesn't matter what you do, they're always complaining. Which kid are you going to want to give stuff to? Probably the kid that's a little more grateful, and not the kid that is never satisfied, never happy with what you do for them or how you help them. So I try to embody the same thing and go, well, if I'm not really grateful for the things that I have currently, why would God give me any more? Why would He help me even more if I'm not grateful for all the things He's already helped me out with? So I like to take inventory of every little thing, even down to the small things, the things that I'm really grateful for. For one, it just makes me feel a lot better about myself. When problems do arise throughout the day, I don't let those problems affect me as so much, because when you run through a list of 100 things that you're grateful for, and one little bad thing happens to you, it's not a big deal in comparison to how many things that you're grateful for. So I'm a huge believer in gratitude, and the way that you practice gratitude is just reviewing it, taking an inventory, writing it down, speaking it, saying thank you, and just acknowledging all the things that you do have. This is a big part of the morning routine is gratitude. You don't want to miss this step. And another fun part about it is when you separate your goals from your gratitude, and you put the goals on the left side of the paper, and then everything you're grateful for on the right-hand side, it's really fun to move things from the right side to the left side. And if you do this long enough, you'll see it happen in your life, and you'll go, oh my gosh, things that are on the gratitude side, things that I'm grateful for, used to be on the goal side, right? And I've been able to move them from the goal sheet over to the gratitude sheet. So that's a very rewarding thing. So really like to split those up and practice that on a daily basis. Once again, helps me out a ton in my day-to-day life. From there, I'm going to move on to some type of physical activity or workout. And I don't think you have to work out for an hour, you have to kill yourself, or you have to do anything crazy. But I am a believer that you do need to get out there and you need to do some type of physical activity on a daily basis. And this is for your physical or your mental health just as much as it is for your physical health. I'm not a person that you would consider to be depressed. I've never taken depression medications, thankfully. I've had a bit of anxiety. I think a lot of people do have anxiety, but like I said, don't consider myself a depressed person. But if I don't work out, I don't take care of myself for 3 or 4 days in a row, I can literally feel it. I can feel my mental health declining, and I don't like that. And so one thing that I realized, if I work out consistently and I move and I use my body and I get a little sunlight, I don't have any depression. Overall, I'm pretty happy. So when you think about working out, don't just think about getting skinny or building muscles or trying to look good for other people. Don't worry about any of that kind of stuff. Do what you want to do what makes you happy, but do something physical every single day, just connecting with the body, getting out there, putting a little stress on the body. For me, that's another aspect that I think about is I like to work out in the morning because it's hard. And working out, doing something hard early in the morning, later on, everything else is going to seem a little bit easy. If I've already really pushed myself mentally, I've pushed myself out of my comfort zone, I've made myself do something even if I did not want to do it, because you're not going to want to work out every single day. You're not going to have that motivation, but if you make yourself do it anyways, you get a lot of satisfaction from that, a lot of confidence, and then throughout the day, you have a lot of energy. And if tough things do arise, they come down the pipeline, you're not affected by them so much because because you've already done something that's really hard. From there, standard stuff. I'm going to hop in the shower, get ready for work. Shower is typically a cold shower for me, just to shock the body a little bit, get that adrenaline pumping, get my energy up. And same thing, start to train my mind and my body early on in the day of, hey, I'm in charge here, right? I don't want to get in that water. You don't want to get in that water, but we're going to do it anyways. And we're going to do it every single day, regardless if we want to or not. And you do not get used to cold water. It's not something that you really get used to. It's cold every time. It hurts every time. But what it does for me is physically, it gives me a little energy, but mentally, it tells me, hey, I'm in control. I'm in charge. I do hard things even when I don't want to do them, and I do them every single day. So love the cold shower. Some people don't like it. I don't think it's the biggest aspect of a morning routine, but just kind of sharing with what works for me. And the cold water showers do help me out physically and mentally. And overall, the idea that I want you to understand from all of this, these sound little bitty things, mundane, pretty simple, not anything groundbreaking, but what is groundbreaking is the compound effect over time, where I've went and I've done my morning routine every day for the last 4 months, right? That's when you're really going to start to see a lot of results out of this. Like most things, is when you do it consistently, it starts to compound, it starts to build, okay? Another aspect that I want you to think about is, throughout the day, tough things are going to happen to you. You're going to get punched in the face. There's going to be problems. There's going to be things that you have to overcome. And what I think about in the morning is doing my morning routine is kind of like putting on armor. And each time I do gratitude, I'm putting on a little more armor. When I listen to a podcast, I'm putting on some armor. When I do my affirmations, I'm putting on a little more armor. When I do a cold shower, when I do a workout, when I make my bed, when I do my journaling, I set my goals, all of these things, it's like a knight putting on one piece of metal at a time. And when I walk out that door, I'm fully armored head to toe. There's nothing, there's no weak points. I can't get hurt at all. And throughout the day, I start to get attacked. And slowly but surely, pieces of this armor start to fall off. But when I get to the end of the day, I'm still fine. I'm still not hurt because my armor is what took all these hits and not my body, if that kind of makes sense to you. So that's the way that I like to think about it and visualize it in my mind is I'm putting on armor. I'm getting ready to go to war. Some bad things may happen today, but it's not going to affect me because I started so high. I started so positive. I started off on such a good note. As life knocked me down, I still stayed pretty good. But if I don't do that morning routine, I start at a baseline. I start at zero, and life happens to me. Problems happen. Now I'm in a negative. Now I'm in depression. I'm in anxiety. I'm in fear. I'm in uncertainty. I'm in all of these feelings, all of these things that I don't want to experience, I don't want to feel. And so I just want to overload myself with positivity and gratitude and discipline and building my self-confidence. That way, some things do happen. I never fall below zero. And ultimately, that really kind of wraps up what a morning routine is, how I do my morning routine, what the importance of it is. And I hope you can understand that, these things are really simple, but they're extremely, extremely powerful. I promise you, I would not start my entire podcast talking about a morning routine if I did not think it was that important and it could help you in your day-to-day life. And if you did get value from this, the only thing that I'm going to ask you to do is to share this podcast, share this video, whatever you're watching it on, share it. The whole goal of this show is simply to help people. You guys know throughout my entrepreneur journey, I have failed time and time again and learned things the hard way and simply want to help share some information that might help you on your journey and make it a little bit easier. So the only thing I ask, please share this podcast. Please share these videos. It really does help me and helps, more importantly, helps other people get access to good quality information that's actually proven and tested from real people not somebody that's making stuff up, trying to sell you something, a regular guy. I don't have it all together. I'm still on my journey, right? I'm still going up. I'm still being successful. I don't believe that anybody has it all together. Nobody's got it all figured out. But I do have a few things that are working for me. I want to share those with you guys. Hopefully they can help you out in your day-to-day life. Thanks for watching today's episode of Move the Needle. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share if you're enjoying the content. And do not forget to tune in next week. Every single week, we're going to be bringing you guys a new episode with new information. That way you can move the needle in your own life. Thanks again. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, we move the needle, from E to full, move the people, from move the needle, from E to full, move the people,